All right, everybody, welcome back to God of War. This is actually God of War remastered for the PS3. Before the video gets started, I would like for you to click the like button. If you make it to the end of the video, we'll probably ask you some kind of weird question. You can leave the answer to that in the comment section below. And if you actually if you stay to the end, there's an end card that'll lead to a playlist of the last series I did and the last video that went up live. Likely. So, if you like what you see, hit subscribe. You probably won't, but that's alright. Everybody's entitled to do whatever they shoot. There's something at the end of this, I know there is. And I'm supposed to take that rope down. There is. I'm going anyway. Like, I don't know what's at the end of this. Like, I don't know if there's going to be like some kind of weird vantage point. But I'm going to just keep almost falling off. The answer is no. The answer is just nothing. Alright. I got to play, you got to talk. Let's get it going.
So, some of the things that he says inspired him also, like as far as
David Jaffe for those who are somehow seeing this as the first episode.
Because but yeah, he said that the main movies that inspired him were Clash of the Titans.
Obviously.
The other one was Raiders of the Lost Ark.
That also makes a little sense. With the
and the imagery of Heavy Metal magazine were the main things that he feels inspired his ideal, visualizations.
Alright. Hold on, I'm gonna get my first gift. God with the Titans and the Titans doing the blop blop.
Lord Poseidon, Kratos.
Oh, Poseidon.
Before you reach Athens, there is a task you must complete. This beast, this Hydra, it has terrorized my seas for far too long. Your skills are admirable, but you will need assistance. You will need the power of the gods. Take this weapon, Kratos. Take this power and use it to defeat your enemies.
Oh, this is that ability. Okay. You have unlocked Poseidon's Rage.
Go with the gods, Kratos. Go forth.
Hopefully they will tell me how to use it, because I don't remember. Oh, no, yeah. Okay. Die, all of you. You're trash. All right, go ahead. Continue talking. In some games, they won't let you pass these rooms unless you kill every enemy, like a certain number of enemies, with the magic they gave you.
But he basically said that he wanted the player to feel like he did as a child watching and reading these things, but he did not. Apparently, he wanted you to feel like this wonder, like the grand sense of the larger world around these people.
I'm also going to save pretty much every time I get the opportunity to, just in case the PlayStation crashes. That's kind of like the only reason. The PlayStation has, because my PS3 has a bad temper, and it has a tendency to crash. So I will be saving every opportunity I get for that reason and that reason only.
He also said the main thing he wanted to avoid was making the role of the player feel like an adventurer. He specifically cited saying the Legend of Zelda games, he didn't want it to feel like Zelda. I don't know what he has against Zelda, but he didn't want it to feel like Zelda.
What? I don't know if y'all can see that, but yeah, the key shines for like a second to let you know, like you were supposed to grab it. The wild thing is, this is just happening. This isn't happening because something went down. It's just happening. The Hydra lives in the sea and is being a dick. Because that's what it does. That's it. No more, no less.
That's just its design. It has no other purpose.
Yeah, they aren't, this isn't happening. Ooh, it made me feel weird. Ow. But yeah, like as far as I'm like, I am not a, I'm not against the Legend of Zelda, but I've never been a super Legend of Zelda fan. Like I've only played the fourth season, which is a game they gave us on 3DS for free, like a really long time ago, and Twilight Princess. Those are the only Zelda games I've ever played. I truly enjoyed Twilight Princess. Like I had a lot of fun with that. It was yours, oddly enough. And I had a lot of fun with it. But in like the age of the internet, like having like if it wasn't for the fact that I had somebody to like call and be like, hey, what do you do when this happens, or like somewhere to look it up. Like, oh, okay, that's how you want to be. Like, it would have been like a nightmare to play because all the Legend of Zelda games are extremely convoluted. Like, regardless of how much you like them, they are extremely convoluted, and that's how I always see them. Especially games like, because I want to play. What is it? A Link to the Past. I want to play that. I want to play like the remake. Like I want to play what's the name of that damn remake they did on it wasn't really a remake, but they did a
Link Between Worlds.
Yeah, Link Between Worlds where you turn sideways. Yeah, I want to play that.
Because that isn't a remake, but it is a reimagining.
Yeah, and I would like to also play Link's Awakening DX. I mean, yeah, the remake of Link's Awakening.
Yeah.
So, okay. You can't block when he bites, but when he does the blowing attack, if you don't block, it will blow you off the top of the thing, which isn't really a problem.
But to elaborate on that, because he does have like more to say about this, it just wasn't in that specific part of the article. He elaborated saying that God of War was designed to be simplistic and moving forward, but the game is not innovative or unique, and that's by design. Which I mean, it's different from other games at the time. Other than, I mean, it's like.
Well, I think he was thinking more along the lines of like a game being linear.
Yeah, I suppose.
Oh shit! I didn't know I was supposed to press. I thought I was gonna have to like spin the stick, and I was wrong.
Jaffe then said their system was shallow. It forced the team to constantly create new content to trapeze the player from one area of interest to the next. He said he understood modular game design, the need to have great-looking, high-detail levels without having to build and texture every minuscule piece of the environment.
And I will say this. This is something that probably a lot of people don't think about when it comes to like video games, and it's fair if you don't. But the architecture for this game, not just this game, but this and I would say the Resident Evil 2 remake, the architecture for those games, most Resident Evil games architecture is really good. Like in most cases, if you don't block that, it'll blow you off the platform. Which won't be a problem, but you'll have to like get back up here.
Like I'll even say like the older games, like every like background design for all those games were usually good, even when the characters looked like boxes.
Well, they could do that because the backgrounds didn't have to move. But I mean, when I say the architecture, I mean like the actual architecture, the building of the stages, not like the buildings in the stage, but the idea of moving from place to place in those games, like in this game specifically, and like even the newer ones, the architecture to me always was really impressive. Like I always liked the idea of like, oh yeah, because if I'm not mistaken, this is the game that takes place in one spot. Like after this, I think the objective is to, oh my gosh, yeah.
I mean, I'll be honest, I don't remember fully because
this is the game where, like, we end up on Kronos' back. Oh shit.
Yeah, I know that because I know that stuff. I remember the like footnotes. I just don't remember the
Yeah, if I'm not mistaken, like you end up on Kronos' back, and you end up. There's a part that everybody hates about. Like, there's two parts of this game that, on average, people will complain about. That's the siren, the desert sirens. You have to kill all three of them to be able to progress, and like it's all based on sound. So it's a little difficult. I don't remember having trouble the first two times I played this game. Well, the first like three times I played it more than twice. But I don't remember ever having trouble with that. But I could be wrong. Like I said that, and I could like get into it and fuck around and it'd be like difficult as shit. I'm fighting a thing and it's requiring me to like pay attention.
That's fair.
Like I would say, like on PS2, like having to fight this giant thing, there is no way. I just don't. Ew. Like I don't think there's any way that you could possibly be like, oh yeah, this is normal. Like every bit of this, like is something I feel like I've seen before. Like standing on this, like I never played Final Fantasy or anything like that, so I completely like. For me, this would have been a brand new experience. Like on PlayStation 2, I didn't play any games that felt this massive. You know what I mean? Because I was just fighting a giant, like the Hydra. I was just like it was just me and this thing's head on screen. That was it. There wasn't really anything else going on, and I don't remember at all like how I remember to do this. Whoops, sorry, dude. Wrong button.
It's really funny that Jaffe's like specific quote here is Jaffe doesn't know what he's doing. That's what a lot of the head offices were saying, like the people he was working for. And he goes on to say, but I do. I understand modular game design. I am the value that comes from that. But feeling that we couldn't step outside those boundaries, at least for me, that I was going to get bored. I didn't want to be in an industry where all we're doing is the same shit over and over. And I think that's where most of the problems from game development comes from. Given the industry we live in right now, for the most part, that every game is like literally the same every year.
Experience, yeah.
And anytime anything does innovate, like that's just the new standard. Like when the next Fortnite comes out, like
almost immediately, like, oh, people are liking this. Oh, fuck it. I guess this is what we're making now.
yeah,
Like,
Battle Royale's big. Like, well, every game system, system now.
If I'm not mistaken, like Call of Duty is releasing, or did earlier today, release a free-to-play Battle Royale game.
Good. That makes me so wet in the pants.
Wet panties immediately. Let's see. Do I want to go? Yeah, I want to go forward. Yeah, more y'all. There it is. And then y'all just immediately get the biz nasty because that's how. Oh, okay. So you're not. All right. Can I not like Kratos? Like the concept is simple.
Jaffe at one point says, "I have days where I feel the games industry can really be something else. I have moments where games generally feel like they're going to be the next great medium in entertainment." This is what he's just made God of War, by the way. Like, so again, this is a fresh-faced David Jaffe who knows nothing about where his career is going. And then there's other days when I say, you know what? It's just the porn business. It's just like the porn business.
He ain't wrong. To be fair, it's a. I would say it has a lot. It's a lot of like the idea that what you're doing, people do for free, and people can easily steal the things you're making. And honestly, you're trying to get people to pay money for something. Man, I'm about to say a lot of things. Kratos, be on my side. You're trying to get people to pay money for something they may only use once. You feel me? Like I've never like.
Yeah.
I've never really bought porn. See, I look at it a lot, but I don't. I've only like paid for porn like once, and that was because we were at an adult bookstore, and the novelty of it is why I did it. Cutscene. Like on PS2, this would look impressive to me, cause I'm coming from like games like goddamn NBA Street 2
like
and
animals,
Tony Hawk and GTA San Andreas. Like this looks incredible in comparison. And keep in mind, I'm talking about the cutscenes. Like
his only solace was the sea.
Yeah.
Endlessly sailing
Because I mean, San Andreas, while fun to play, does look like dog shit.
That's debatable. That's
That's
debatable. Whether or not that game is fun to play is debatable. It was fun to play. All right, I think it's gonna be some titties, y'all. Titty 1 and titty 2, titty 3 and titty 4.
On earth could rid him of the horrors that
They're animated titties. If you got a problem with that, I feel bad for you, honestly. You got a problem with titties, but like people are dying left and right. You need to get your priorities together.
10 years of it. I have faithfully served the gods for 10
The water effects aren't great, but they are impressive for the time.
We request one final task of you, Kratos. Your greatest challenge awaits in Athens, where even now my brother Ares lays siege as we speak. Athens is on the verge of destruction. It is the will of Ares my great city fall. Zeus has forbidden the gods from waging war on each other. That is why it must be you, Kratos. Only a mortal trained by a god has a chance at defeating Ares.
And if I am able to do this, to kill a god, then the visions, they will end?
Complete this final task, and the past that consumes you will be forgiven. Have faith, Kratos. The gods do not forget those who come to their aid.
leaving the rotting carcass of the Hydra behind, Kratos set sail once more. His greatest challenge and freedom from his growing madness lay before him in the ancient city of Athens.
I would also like to point out that David Jaffe made Drawn to Death. Boy, them some big areolas. I'm with the shit. Don't get me wrong. I'm with the shit.
Stay, Kratos.
How do I...
Come back to bed, Kratos.
Is there really not a way for me to... Ah, there it is. One more time because I don't... I do like how the damn... the vase just kind of like pop back in there. I don't know if there's anything for doing it twice. I know you... I think it's just a very small amount of health the second time around. Does it pop back in? No, I think it does that. Ha! I think it only does that if... Yep, there it is. It's back. Also, like, David Jaffe, like, clearly, like, had it in his head to make video games not specifically for children. Because there was a lot of that on PlayStation 1. Like, there was a lot of these are for children games on PlayStation 1. And, like, Nintendo is still apparently, like, very well known for, well, it's a kiddie console. It's like, it's, you know, they don't have real games on there. Like, and I don't know what the fuck a quote-unquote real game is. But I do feel like plot cutscenes. Oh, no, never mind. Oh, no, wait. Like the idea that if you personally feel like a game isn't a good game unless it has sex, nudity, violence, and swearing in it, like your priorities are fucked.
Destroy Ares, and the gods will forgive you your past.
I do like how, like, throughout this entire game, you know how, like, in Bioshock, there's that thing that you don't really pay attention to because the wording is very specific.
Yeah.
That happens in this game, and you just never notice it.
No?
Like, if for whatever reason you haven't played God of War before, like, just understand, like, he's, like, they aren't giving you any information. Like, as the game starts. Like, you aren't getting any information about what's going on. You know what? Like, they're not telling you, like, we don't get any information about where he got the blades. We're not getting any info whatsoever. So, the whole, like, forgive him of his past thing, the audience at this point doesn't know what's going on. And, like, I like that, like, to a degree. I do like that. And, like, I would say, like, it's also just important to, like, keep in mind what Athena keeps saying. Or specifically what she just said. Like, because Kratos is an angry boy. Like, we don't know.
It's kind of his thing.
Yeah, it is. It kind of is his thing. So I want to go that way. I do. Oh, shoot. Okay, so I can go in here. But the question is, do I want to?
Apparently, at some point between making Twisted Metal games, David Jaffe was trying to make a game called Dark Guns. And he was designing and making that game for about 4 years when they just literally told him,
No.
we're not letting you
Yeah,
this.
it's over. Well, guys, with that being said, this is the end of episode 2. Hopefully you enjoyed something about it. I don't know what there was to enjoy. The game hasn't really started good yet. But hey, you stick with it long enough, it'll get to going. So, like always, like, comment, and subscribe. What's a good question to ask? What game, in your personal opinion, doesn't really matter like how anybody else feels about it, in your personal opinion, what game on what platform to you made you go, holy shit, this console is capable of much more than I've seen thus far? Leave that down in the comments. We'll ask Fifth in the next episode.
I'm actually going to say, if you can't think of anything to say about that, or if you're just too shy and you just have the anxiety, just write the word Dark Guns. Just show your support in whatever way you possibly can.
Yeah, because David Jaffe will give a shit. But until next time, guys, we're out of here.